Hello everyone, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got a cold change on the way this week, around the middle of the week, moving up across New Zealand. But before that arrives, we've got warmer than average weather pushing through. It's thanks to this big high well out to our east. The anticyclonic winds means you're getting this subtropical flow down and across the country. So last night was pretty warm. Tonight will also be fairly mild in many places, but there's a colder change coming down here in the Southern Ocean, about to move on through. So warm nor'westers will give way to southerlies. They're just arriving in Tasmania right now. So this is how we look rainfall wise over the next 2 days coming up. Most of the rain that you see here on the west coast in the bright blue and the pink, taking you around about sort of 60 millimetres to 100, 120 millimetres, still yet to come in over the next couple of days. So there could still be rain warnings. The blue you see up here and the blue you see in the east, that's at the very start of the scale, just a couple of spits, couple of drizzle patches, nothing much accumulating there. The only areas in the North Island with proper rainfall, this area here on the western side, Waitomo down to Taranaki, where you have sort of anywhere between 15 and 35, 40 millimetres of rain coming over the next 2 days, and a similar story down in the very lower western part of the North Island. Right, let's move on to the temperatures. Now this is a bit of a different setup. We've shown you the departure from normal for the whole week ahead. Don't worry so much about the numbers you're seeing on the screen, it's more about the colours. So what we're seeing here is Monday and Tuesday, both leaning warmer than average across the country. A lot of areas in red, 4 to 8 degrees above normal, and some places in Canterbury on Tuesday, here in the darker shading, and also up here around Hawke's Bay for this afternoon, in that over 8 degrees above normal for this time of the year category. So Monday and Tuesday are warm, but look what happens on Wednesday. In comes the cold change. The South Island and the lower North Island, both colder than average by a few degrees. The north of the country, warmer than average by a few degrees. Oh, and the west coast, bang on average for this time of the year. And then we get to the end of the week, Thursday and Friday. Thursday's colder than average for the eastern side of New Zealand. Friday, pretty much normal temperatures for the whole country. So an interesting week. It looks very much like autumn when you see hot going to cold. So let's take a look and see what's happening. Here is the setup for Tuesday. Warmer than average thanks to those westerly winds blowing across the country and subtropical breezes for some into the upper North Island. But in comes that cold change. It arrives in Southland during the afternoon and then moves into Otago and up into Westland later on, although the west coast is pretty much wet across Tuesday. By Wednesday, that colder surge moves into the North Island. It moves into Wellington in the morning, moves up around Hawke's Bay, Gisborne during the afternoon, and pretty much by the end of Wednesday, everybody will have a temperature drop. Some of you in the upper North Island, though, you won't feel it until Thursday, but it will be arriving for you at night time. And then in comes this big high behind it that locks in the cold. So we've got some frosty weather potential coming through on Wednesday in the south. By Thursday, definitely seeing some frosts around the South Island after a southerly with a high right on the top of it. In the North Island, you've still got that colder than average weather along the eastern side, but it should be fairly sunny for many others in the north and the west because of that southeasterly airflow. And by the end of the working week, we've got a low out to the east, another one out to the west. But Friday itself looks fairly settled across the country thanks to this little bit of high pressure. It's a little bit strange. It's actually out over here and it comes in and around and up. So a little bit weird. Couple of storms here on the map. Actually quite an active map when you look at it. 3 big lows all in a row there, even 4. But at this stage, most of them aren't really affecting us. The final map we've got is for Saturday. That is where those 2 sort of lows we saw in the South Tasman dropping down to the Southern Ocean and merging into one system sends up a front, but that's sort of disconnected from it. So Saturday, a period of rain or showers for the North Island. I'm very sorry for those of you in eastern New Zealand. The rainfall accumulations are still below average, but the western side, some of you are leaning wetter than average. And another note on Saturday, with this big high parked under Aussie, there's a cooler sou'wester coming in behind it. So definitely getting into the colder weather now, a little bit more traditional in the sense of the weather pattern, but we could certainly see some wet weather in the east. That would be helpful. Unfortunately, only a few showers coming for you this week. Make the most of what you get. We'll be back again tomorrow.